I I do like this team as well. Ooh,
We've made a thorough inspection
never
of the
full screened.
wreckage, Your Majesty. There is no sign of Admiral Taylor or his ship.
200 ships at my disposal, yet the one carrying my son goes missing. What of their last message? Show me whatever you have.
We have been drawn off course. Horde air fleet. Many casualties. Shipwrecked on an uncharted isle. But the White Pawn is accounted for. Repeat, the White Pawn is safe.
Anduin.
Surprise attack! Requesting immediate, if anyone's received.
Sir, the 7th Fleet has already been dispatched, but it could take weeks before it...
There's no time to waste. We'll send a small elite force to secure this new land and bring back my son.
Something that is never acknowledged within WoW. I think it was deliberately like kept quiet, but something in that happens in a short story pre-Kata is Varian dies. Straight up dead. Anduin reses him. That's why they kill him off so hard in Legion, presumably, so Anduin can't just do it again. But Anduin, prior to his speech, Varian is in maybe at the gravesite for his wife, or he's in a garden, and one of Deathwing's Draconids descends upon him, and he puts up a good fight, but he's struck down. Anduin comes upon his father's lifeless body, and Anduin is not a warrior like his father, but a priest. So he calls upon the light and manages to resurrect his father. The Draconid is still there. I think Anduin threw up a barrier or something. He resurrects his father, and the renewed Varian, maybe with support of guards, is able to strike down the Draconid and continue to the stage and give a speech. The retconned out general out at, on the bridge. He not the woman replacing him, the female one commander out there, but the character that she replaced. He was giving a speech on military history or tank combat or something. It was incredibly dry and boring. Everyone else was... No one was agitated waiting for the king. Everyone was busy falling asleep. So, that's how they kept everyone placated. Well, Varian was off dying. Presumably it never came out because it would cause such unrest that their king died. So I suppose that's one thing that makes sense that's never acknowledged within WoW. Like, I've commented before how there's a ton of spin-off stuff, the side novels and stories that they do, and would like more acknowledgement of them. But this is one that's justified in not being acknowledged, because it makes sense that it wouldn't be. So.
At ease, soldier.
Our role is of utmost importance. Admiral Taylor and his flagship have gone missing. More importantly, the young prince was with him. The primary objective to bring him home safely.
Goodbye.
So, it's too late. Okay, I'm gonna stop for a mo. I'm gonna go get another cup of coffee, and then we're gonna start. Hopefully, some things will sell in the meantime, and then I can delay starting Pandaria and continue with this. In some ways, it's a good idea to delay starting Pandaria because the opening rush. Remember when I did actually that probably hasn't come out yet, the anniversary vids, and you see like so many people in Brill, well not even Brill and Death Knell, fighting over the same mobs. That's what we would have here. So anyway, back in a bit. Hope you've enjoyed this so far, folks. Hey, folks. I'll head and get that coffee in a mo. So, let's get on with it.
Keep your mind on the mission. Back to your duties.
Well, you heard the king. Admiral Taylor's last transmission came from somewhere in southern seas. We'll begin our search from the air. Locating the prince, the White Pawn, is of critical priority. The Skyfire is fueled, supplied, and ready to depart. She and her crew idle in the sky just north of the harbor, making last preparations to meet Admiral Rogers on the deck. We depart without delay. There was some critique I've seen of WoW that we're never the hero of the story. Everyone else steals the spotlight on us. And I think they do have a point. Like, we may be the High Lord, but everyone else is bossing us around. Whenever there's a big, like, hero moment, it's one of the NPCs doing it. Remember the artist fight? It's Tyrion bursting out of the frost tube. It's Jaina turning up with a gunship, flying it by herself, levitating it over, land. In like FF14, the counterpoint to it was that, like, there is a raid where you're fighting against someone, and other beings are summoned to a portal to help you. That's you from the future. So you get to do that raid again, and you get the flip side of it. That's what I remember hearing. I never got onto it, and don't plan on ever getting onto it. FF14 is chronically mistranslated, so you're not actually getting FF14, you're getting the translator's opinion of what you should get. They mistranslated Hushfont's character cripplingly during ARR. Then when they tried to get back in line for Heaven's Word, it was already too late. They already bastardized it. So... and that's just one character. They've done it cripplingly throughout it. I've heard one claim that they correctly translated something Momodi said, where she got poetic and sentimental, and then had her insult it and run it down. That was not in the original Japanese. That was them just taking a swing at it randomly. Because I know there's some people have an issue with being sincere and not basting everything in like 7 layers of irony. Sincerity is anathema to some people.
Victory in battle is the only path to peace.
Rasmussen, Sky Mage Harlan. Skyfarer has had a complete overhaul since our encounter with Deathwing. We now carry a full complement of both fixed-wing and gyro aircraft, as well as a battery of 18-inch smoothbore shore bombardment cannons. Lord won't be able to hide from our reach. Not on land, not at sea, not in the air. You have it in for the Horde, don't you? Skyfarer's, the Sky Admiral's face grows hard. Grew up in South Shore. My parents are buried there. What's left of them? I'm ready to part. See, with the whole Alliance Horde going apiece, it does seem like there is... it seems like Blizzard aren't... when I've talked about it before in SOD, I was fearing that Blizzard was just like, okay, we're all buddies now, and just move on. That was my fear of what they were going to do. Thankfully, that doesn't seem to be the case. There is still animosity between them, but it's largely swinging peace side, it seems. But Northern Elwyn Mountains. But I really need to play more retail, like Shadowlands and on, to really comment. But part of me feels like it's hard to have much, in the way of actual peace between the Horde and the Alliance. It's more on the Horde side, which people have complained about. The Horde hold the villain ball too much. It probably should have been more give and take. Um, but the Horde, like, both sides have done bad things to the other. Or at the very least, both sides have fought. And whether or not the fighting back was justified, it would still, people would still die. There would still be resentment. Because they don't care what their side did, they care that the other side killed their family. So, like, look at the events of South Shore. The plague bombardments, dissolving of people, the capture and, experimentation on the citizens of South Shore, the atrocities the Forsaken have committed, the lingering scars of what the Orcs have done. Similarly, there'll be the lingering scars of what, say, like the internment, what the humans did there. Though, to be fair, the only alternative was complete genocide of the Orcs. To be honest, I don't know why the humans didn't do that, given the events of Warcraft 1 and 2. So, I'm doubting Blizzard's handling it. Like, if they want to go this direction, sure, but you have to handle it right, and I kind of question Blizzard's ability to do so. But I can't really comment on it without playing retail, and honestly, I have little drive to do so. It might happen someday, but right now I'm playing classics. I'm playing this, and then if they come out with, Classic Plus, Vanilla Plus, we'll probably go back to that, but we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, an idea I had before was that, there was resentment among the Alliance of what the Horde had done to them, like the events of South Shore, the burning of Teldrassil. And so some more embittered individuals, kind of like Member the Defias, about being mistreated by the Stormwind nobles, they go renegade. There could be some ex-military among them, They're like, the leader of the Defias was personally trained by the leader of SI7 to take over for him. I remember going through that quest chain on SOD and feeling like fucking hyped to go up against the guy. They build him up to be the shit, and he was just an early dungeon enemy. They did a much better build up of him than other enemies, and he was just like, first dungeon for humans. It's really it's a really good, like, lead in to him. It was solid work. So, they could have a similar thing now, but rather than resentment towards human nobles, they could have resentment towards the Horde, and maybe to the Alliance for, wanting peace with the disgusting mongrels of the Horde. But then being more focused on the Horde, and, lashing out because of that. And there could be even, like, support from various, members of the Alliance military or above who still hold a grudge against the Orcs for what they've done. So, you could even put them at odds with Alliance because, we won't let you stop us from, it's, political disagreement. You're trying to halt the hostilities, and they really don't care. They want to avenge their murdered family. They want to avenge their people. It doesn't matter that they're killing people who didn't hurt their families. They just blew up a camp of Tauren. They just see enemies, So you can easily have an Alliance squabble there, but, You know, remember people were complaining about the Horde holding the villain ball too much. It was a way of having the Alliance, dirtying up the Alliance a bit, basically. And the part of the original idea was, you know, remember Tyrande was like brimming with vengeance against the Horde? Same again, both really hating Sylvanas. Would have been a way to, you could tie them in that way. Though they've claimed that, you know, Tyrande's gotten her vengeance, even though there's no way she could have. Like apparently, like I've heard about how it played out in Shadowlands, and it was like a slap on the wrist compared to what Sylvanas did to her. She did. There was no way in hell you could call that getting her revenge. You know, there's no way in hell. So it just, yeah. So yeah, that was an idea of, you know, way of dirtying up the Alliance, but it would also make sense given what the Horde have done that there'll be people with that kind of resentment. Of course, I can't really comment too much on how they're handling it in Blizzard, in retail, because I just haven't played there. I stopped, you know, early on in Shadowlands. I was still in the leveling experience. So, you know, I really can't comment. But that was an idea I had floating about. I remember talking about that before in SOD on the way to Shadowfang. I remember talking about it back then when I was trying to get the material for my Paladin quest. So early days. Probably talked about it more there than here. It could be missing details. But I do remember seeing some NPCs in retail being puzzled about, like, why are we going to peace with the Horde? But... Still a little iffy on it. You see all the NPCs we'll be talking to, but can't talk to them yet. But, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. Yeah, now my head's kind of stuck in a loop. But, yeah, I can't really comment on how retail's handling it, but to go on by a lot of writing Blizzard has done, I question if they'll be handling it well. Let's take another example. Remember the Dark Irons from Classic? How you go into BRD and you see them torturing dwarves, and maybe a few other races, but you see them torturing, you know, Bronzebeard dwarves to the point of bringing them back so they can be undying slaves in a pit in the ground, being laughed at by the jailers. Yeah, that's completely forgotten in when they rejoin the other dwarves in Ironforge. That's completely forgotten. The other dwarves mistrust Moira, but she's shown to be the one in the right, and everything else the Dark Irons did is entirely forgotten. Like, they don't trust her because she's representing the Dark Irons, and the Dark Irons are historical enemies that have done terrible things to the Bronzebeard and the Wildhammer. And rather than making any amends for it, she just demands the throne, you know, and just completely ignores it. And so do the writers. Like, there's a scenario I remember doing here in Pandaria where she does make a move against some enemies that were threatening Ironforge, and the other dwarves did not trust her enough to engage in the action with her because they couldn't trust her not to backstab them in the field. But when when we help her out and it all goes fine, they're like, oh, it turns out she's all on the level and it's fine. It's terribly handled. It doesn't make sense. Who knows how many, Bronzebeards and Wildhammers, among others, gnomes, they've tortured to death, and, brought them back through necromancy to torture them some more. And her not screwing over a third party is enough to prove she's on the level to you? Fuck off. That's why I entitled the video Ragnaros Did Nothing Wrong. If you want to hear the full rant, check out that video of SOD when it comes out. I don't know when it's coming out, but check that out when it does. Ragnaros did nothing wrong. I say that because when Ragnaros was summoned, he nuked Searing Gorge and the Burning Steeps, killing not only the leader of the Dark Irons at the time, Tesurian, but also a ton of other Dark Irons. And yeah, Ragnaros, good guy. He did nothing wrong.
Do your duty, soldier.
I am. I'm caping for a Ragnaros. Hoorah. Like, there is a way you can play with that, but it's just it completely ignored the Dark Iron's faults, what they've done wrong.
The flagship's
Oh,
last
vomited.
position was below. Can you see anything?
Fog. Nothing but dense fog. Wait. Land, starboard. I see ships.
Those are Horde vessels. General quarters. Get our birds in the air. Clear the decks. Stations, people. Let's go to war.
That gnome's out of commission. Like, there's a way you can do that, but you have to actually acknowledge what the Dark Irons have done wrong. You have to acknowledge them as not, like, the mistrust of them is justified. It's not, and not just completely ignore it and pretend it didn't happen. That's the failing of it. They could have probably done the same stuff, but actually acknowledge the other side rather than pretending she's right, they're wrong, fuck them. Which is what they did, in softer terms. So that's all they have to do, is actually acknowledge that they have a point. That the Dark Irons are historical enemies. They've regularly, up to a few years ago, had been capturing and torturing Bronzebeards. It's kind of hard to trust them, and their new leader, even if she happens to be a Bronzebeard. So it's an easy, it was an easy fix, but they just completely ignored that, You have to see things from multiple sides, and if you just refuse to do that, the writing comes off a lot weaker, So it's an easy fix. Just acknowledge that they have a point, and to actually have a bit of give and take. Myra doesn't seem the type to give and take, so have it backfire on her. Have things not work out for her, because she's refusing to meet them halfway. They may be refusing to meet her halfway, but, it's, the Council of Three Hammers actually has to diplomatize with each other, You can have the story play out there, rather than simply arbitrating her as right and them as wrong.
Powerful sheep in the fleet. Show them what we're made.
Why do I feel like a better writer than them? I just have too much time on my hands, really. And who knows, maybe they acknowledge that in like side content, but that content is retconned out at a moment's notice. That side content is... it's not here in the game. I don't know if it even exists. I'm theorizing. And I don't think that's something I said in my Ragnaros Did Nothing Wrong video, of like how they could have fixed it. I was too pissed off at the whole thing to do so. I was much more frustrated. I found it funny. Maybe you will too. Check it out. I'm just trying to I'm just trying to get views from other videos, damn it. That's a whole horde base down there. Where was our intel? Oh, Paladin, it's time to see what this upgraded gunship's capable of. 9 gold. Well, you're getting me financially sorted. I'll let the Horde get a foothold on these shores before we do. If you're looking to jump into the fray, I've got a spare gyrocopter for you at the end of the runway. An attack run is already programmed in. All you have to do is concentrate on shooting, which help on these
Show
orcs.
them what they're
Huh. There's a barrier around it. More to the front, maybe? Front and side. It's so people can't block it.
Hey. Right.
I think I've talked to everyone here already in the time running thing.
What's the situation? Do your duty, soldier.
Salutations. Off and away.
It just auto-completed the quest for me. Over here, Desik. Your gyrocopter's ready to go. Men, you've trained for this. You're among the elite. You are Skyfire men. This is the ship that took down Deathwing. You think some raggedy little Horde outpost stands a chance against a Pride Alliance fleet? No. These green dirtbags down there have plagued your homes in South Shore, like sea true children in Redridge, and massacred every man, woman, child in Terramore. It is payback time. Technically, they didn't do it in Redridge. That was either Old Horde or other Horde, you know, Blackrock Spire Horde. That's not this Horde. In fact, canonically, Troll assassinated their leader.
Victory in battle is the only path to peace.
I just can't flatly do it.
What's the situation? For the
A
Alliance.
proper welcome to the Horde to this new land. You're walking down the line and walking right back. Hell yeah.
Do your duty, soldier.
Their town is burning, their men is scattered. I need every available man on the ground now to finish them off. Grab one of the parachutes on the edge of the ship and get down
For the
there.
Alliance. Men, you've trained for this. You're among the elite. You are Sky.
If you want to see that quest being done, check out my time walking video. I did up to the first dungeon. I felt nervous in doing it with a controller. I don't feel nervous now. I raided in SOD with a controller. It's fine. Well, time to shut up, laddie. Let's do some damage.
You got something to report?
Those that came on the Skyfire are the line's finest. Still, there's some things that only SI7 can pull off.
You got something that needs fixing?
Well, wait and see, lads. We'll have ourselves a fine killing machine in no time. The Shredders were always kind of beastly. There's Carrigan on the screen. In Warcraft 3, they were a pretty stonky unit. If you could get one of them, they would just do your workers out of a job as a lumber unit. Your workers could transport like a max of 10 or 20 at a time. They can drop 200. So they're off in the field for ages, and then they saunter back, drop in 200 lumber. And if you get like 2 of them going, that's you sorted. Quickly and quietly. That's how SI7 first operate. That was the plan, at least. Royal Nightwind is already inside Groshar Point, looking for signs of Anduin and Taylor, but it's getting hot in there and needs support. Fight your way through these dogs and find Rao. You see the size of those war wagons? They're packing so many explosives. I cannot tell if the Horde is here to take over this continent. Just blow it out to sea. Blow it out of the sea. We need to neutralize those wagons before they leave Groshar Point. Here, take me pocket flares. Fire them into a wagon and watch the
You got
fireworks.
something that needs fixing?
I'm half-arsing the accent. And the Shredders are neutral. Which kind of fits with their Warcraft 3 depiction, because you'll probably forget them on a tree until someone attacks them.
That's still Richard. That spell isn't ready.
Also saw Seat's review of Prey 2017, and yeah, I'm thinking of going back and doing another run of that. Could also give a run to Moon Crash. I'm glad I heard of the gimmick of it before going into it, where say if you loot every room and like every not nailed down, your next run is gonna have shit on it. There's a carryover between runs, so you got to like optimize who you do first and like what you take, what you don't take. Keck. There we go. The peons there have a new little portrait brought in Pandaria to denote a inferior enemy. When I say inferior enemy, I don't mean that they're just lower level than you. It's just like, by their nature, they're chaff.
I need to get closer.
Didn't mean to aggro you. My AoE seal backfiring. Move over here.
That's still recharging. I can't cast that yet. That's still
Complete waste of a potion, really. Disconnected. Let's try and get back in. Once we get to the Panda settlement, I'll stop and get that drink. Oh, not too much today. 2 cups of coffee? Yeah, I notoriously don't drink much. Okay, I got evicted out to here.
I can't cast that.
I need one more gear greaser. You know how she blames the the playable horde, this horde, for the attacks on Red Ridge? You can play with that. Have her start blaming, you know, or maybe not even necessarily her, but have a character operating under that like logic, blaming just even random, you know, orc peons, you know, like non-involved, like you know, there's a camp of orcs off in Kalimdor that never even stepped foot in Eastern Kingdoms, blaming them for actions taken against the Alliance in the Eastern Kingdoms. They're, you know, killing civilians, you know. Like, remember I was saying earlier about having a, you know, continuing the Alliance resentful over the peace with the Horde, and, you know, getting up to shit. You could have that kind of thing with it. It was. My brain is going numb. Never mind.
Reporting in. Goodbye.
Sometimes these goons make it too easy. But yeah, basically, it's just like you could do something like that, having, you know, a legitimate grudge, but even misapplying it, and then targeting it to people that couldn't have done it. You know. So you take, like, okay, there's an attack on Red Ridge by orcs, but it's a different group of orcs, blaming it on the, like, player horde, but then taking it out on any orc. So orcs that have always been in Kalimdor, you know? So, you know, born there kind of thing. Though I'm not sure if enough time has passed by for them to even be adults at this point. So that mightn't quite work. Who knows, maybe these people are, you know, far-reachers. They've gone through the Dark Portal to blame the orcs in Nagrand, either version, for it. You know. They go fuck up the Magtar over in Draenor. Let's just stick with Burning Crusade Draenor. So yeah. Like an easy, you know, there's an easy story you could do with it. Easy thing you can do. Like, I don't necessarily have an issue with peace between the Horde and Alliance, but it's not something that would be easily won. There's a history of grudge and resentment there on both sides, and that's the kind of thing that basically has to be gotten out one way or the other. And probably by, you know, not given everything that's happened, I don't think they could talk it out. It's probably kind of a bleed it out sort of situation.
Back to your duties.
With those wagons out of commission, we can turn our attention to the commander.
I'm counting on
Great work. If you ever decide to give up your life adventure, the SS7 could use more talent like you.
Back to your duties.
I've scouted the area and found no leads on the Prince or Admiral Taylor. Need to neutralize the space quickly and continue our search elsewhere. Operations here will be led by an orc warlock, Gatrul. He's barricaded the dock and is trying to escape through a demonic circle. Put that flare gun to work again and blow those barricades. Cover your back and move in when you reach Gratul. Huh. I'm surprised it's not taking out the dock, too. Flare gun feels a little hit and miss.
Our sweat and your blood is that will be ours.
Hubble, bubble, toil and trouble.
Couldn't have ported far. Must be another base. At ease, soldier.
We'll catch up with him again. I'm sure of it. Armored chestplate of eminent domain. That's kind of new to me. Not that I'll remember every random green I get.
No sign of the flagship. No sign of Admiral Taylor or Prince Anduin.
Horde troops are swimming towards your position. Open fire at once.
Admiral, I think they mean to surrender. They're not armed. They're just trying not to drown.
You don't think they'll hesitate to strangle you with their bare hands? Gun them down!
It's not right. This is a massacre. We're unarmed. I don't feel well. Maybe they deserve to die.
You beasts! What sort of madness is this?
Men, stand down! This is one of the natives.
And then we just walk him through this, walk our sword right through him.
We are from the Alliance and mean you no harm. Tell me, what was that shadow you drew out of me?
This is not the place to explain. In short, your old doubts have been made manifest as a consequence of your actions.
You don't understand. We're fighting a war here.
Oh, I understand perfectly. I have eyes. But Pandaria is not like whatever land you came from. It lives and breathes. You should be careful what kind of energy you bring here. Now put those weapons away.
No. Ah,
Your eyes open.
what came over me?
Goodbye.
North of this base is a cherry blossom orchard and a village tucked away behind it. Leave a quarter there and tend to our wounded while we plan our next move. Head to that village and make contact with the native leader. Agent Mishka and I will rendezvous with you there. Cordy Sisek, motorizing to represent the entire alliance here. Do you have that authority? I'm banking that seeing a powerful alliance hero like you should make a favorable impression.
Back to your duties.
The whole place is going up in flames. Skyfire's reporting that more of those shadows are crawling up out of the ground. You get our people out of here. Clear a path toward through the base on your way north and head for the town. Rendezvous with you there.
Counting on you.
Give him hell, Desik. Whatever those things are.
That's still Retron.
That spell isn't ready yet.
I'm out of range.
The thing is kind of comedic. Like, this isn't right. You know, they're just trying to surrender. Maybe they deserve to die.
That's still Retron.
I get what they're going for. It's just kind of... it's just kind of funny. Like, you know how the Admiral talked there? She's the kind of perfect character for that kind of story. Of someone with resentment towards the Horde, hating the Alliance going to peace with them, and bringing it further, blaming any orc for the sins of... Oh, I didn't mean to cast you. Blaming any orc for the sins of... any orc, you know?
I can't cast that yet. That's still Retron.
So... she's kind of the perfect, like, in-game example for it.
That spell isn't ready. I can't cast that.
I have to take out 3 more
Out
haunts.
of range. I can't cast that.
Thankfully, they aren't actually linked.
I need to get closer. It's too far away.
Alright, moving on. So, good work in there, Desic. Get onto the village over the bridge. Providing distraction for the Marines. Eh, get off me, new ride. But yeah, it should be a perfect example for such an organization, you know? Character, maybe a legitimate grievance, willing to go as, far and hard in expressing it. It doesn't matter if characters are trying to surrender, it doesn't matter if they couldn't have done it, if they're just rando orc. You know, she's willing to blame them for it and kill them for it. So, basically, if there was such an organization, it would be fitting for her to be part of it, or at the very least financing or supplying them, getting them training or training or equipment, you know. Maybe scouting some of her own troops to second to the organization, you know, depending on how far she wanted to go and support them, you know. You know, giving them some of her, you know, like, she has troops, some of them are qualified trainers, giving the trainers over to them to, you know, get the organization viable. Yeah, that kind of thing. I know the stranger comes to our village, a paladin by the look of it. Enter, but do not draw your weapons against us as the Horde did. Not sure how they ID'd me as a pally, but cool. Mayor Kang, we must act quickly. Rally the city guards at least. Just a moment, Tank. We have a visitor.
Discipline.
I'm glad that you took responsibility for your actions. Left unchecked, negative emotions can quickly overwhelm an individual here, just as it started to overwhelm the one you call Rao.
Our fellowship is our strength to bring to our shores. The very land itself will respond to your passions and your violence. I do not know what the ultimate consequences will be. Nobody does.
Hello.
I will not stand for needless violence,
Next one is on me.
but to buy my random crap gained from needless violence.
Tell me of your travels.
When the mist fell, we knew it would only be a matter of time before visitors arrive. We could not have predicted it would be like this.
May the mists.
How did my village become a battlefield? To the west, our horde enemies cut down our precious orchard. Without our apple trees, we'll no harvest, no food, and no livelihood. We're truly different from this horde. Show us. Help us protect our grove by killing those who defile the land.
Jade serpents, guys.
Some more killing. There, by the fountain. Set them down gently now. Stanton, keep some eyes on that man's head. We need to get slowing down. On it. Daniel, that patient's in shock. Stay with him and monitor his heart rate. Let me know if anything changes. Understood.
Greetings, wanderer.
Priorities.
There is no hope.
Those orc things ransacked the brewery and made off with my family's finest barrels of cider. I know that war is out. I know there's a war out there, but I'm not a brewer who will stand idly by while his prized vintage is chugged by undeserving lips. The horde will likely put up some resistance. Let me put that weapon to good use and help me recover my cider.
Next one is on me.
Did these quests always give? Let us go. The barrels are out in the orchard. Did these quests always give so much so much money? Because it's gonna really help me get my finances in order. I'm already back up to 84 gold. Let's go do some tailoring. These bandages are filthy. Let's get you cleaned up.
What can I do for you?
One critique. They have to keep an ice pack on him. Magical ice pack. Typo. THS, missing an eye. This should help this one go down, right?
Need help?
But, oh, fuck, what was I gonna say? I've completely blanked on what I was gonna say. Well, future. Let's go listen. Let's go listen. Did they always? Did these quests always give? Let us go. The browser out in the orchard. Did these quests always give so much so much money? Because it's gonna really help me get my finances in order. I'm already back up to 84 gold. Let's go do some tailoring. This bandage is filthy. Let's get you cleaned up. Oh, I remember now what I was going to say. I remember hearing a critique of WoW was that the Alliance have a lot of characters to play with, but the Horde have so very few. Like named characters and whatnot. Like, we had Admiral Taylor, but then they killed him off needlessly in WoD. But we still have plenty of other characters to play with. The Horde don't have that many in comparison. Someone did out suppose the list. I say suppose simply because I don't really know the list of Horde characters that well to agree or disagree with it. It's just a list, you know? So my mind is blanking, apologies. So yeah, it's just a supposed list of you know, Alliance characters versus Horde, and the Alliance do come out on top. So that is, I was saying about different things they could do to fix the thing. That does seem like something they have to work on, giving the Horde more characters to play with. But at the same time, I still keep the complaint I've heard still sticks in my head of the importance of your character. Like, you run around and do things, but the story significance always seems to land on NPCs. And like, I've seen people saying that like FF14, despite my complaints with it, gives, you know, more significance to your character. Well, like, while the NPCs are important, your character is still more weight is given to them, more significance is given to them, while the NPC basically, I think the way it was phrased bluntly was simply, in WoW the NPCs are the hero, but in Final Fantasy XIV you're the hero. I think it's kind of a shared role, like, you're important, but so are the Scions, so are, you know, different people you encounter in their own, you know, storyline. But you're still, you know, champion of life, you know? While we are called, you know, champion of the Alliance, champion of the Horde, we kind of get upstaged constantly, you know? By the other characters. We can get, you know, big down hero moment. Well, sorry, in FF14 we do get, you know, hero moments, and so do other characters probably. It's been too long since I played it. But in FF14, in WoW, we were always kind of upstaged by the characters. Like, there is some, like, later on raid in one of the expansions, like Shadowlands or the Dragon thing, where a ton of the NPCs turn up to save us, you know? Meanwhile, they had a similar moment in FF14 of us turning up to save the lower level version of ourselves. So, apparently, anyway. It was during the Alexander fight, people were saying. But, his pulse is weak. His pulse is stable, Mishka, but it's weak. But, So there's two story complaints they have to deal with. More characters for the Horde, and more importance to our character. I remember people really liking the FF14 game to the point of accepting it as a mainline Final Fantasy game, not as a random MMO spin-off of the like random MMO in the series, but an actual proper entry of Final Fantasy. Like putting same bracket as like Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, actually accepting it as a mainline entry rather than just a random MMO being dressed up as one. So, I'm gonna stop for a moment and go get a drink. I'll be back in a sec. But I'm not really sure how you go about doing that, And I'm not sure if I've really felt that way myself, of being secondary to the NPCs. But I will acknowledge that the NPCs do get a lot of, like, aren't they so awesome moments. Like, remember Jaina in BFA, of her swooping in with the gunship. And then her detonating a dam and jumping off, She gets a lot of, like, action movie hero moments. And Khadgar gets a floating wheelchair. Khadgar should, at the very least, be her peer, if not her senior, in terms of skill. So him having that is kind of stupid. There's a way to justify it. Oh, like him, like his injury. There's way. I've seen people complaining about it, and I've seen pictures of it, but I don't know the full details of it to fully comment. So they could be complaining about little. The thing on itself seems stupid. There could be a way to make it work, but depends on how you play with it, basically. I'm of the opinion that it's possible to make maybe not everything, but most things work. It just depends on how you deliver them, Like, the simple idea is that whatever he was captured by the enemy and then released. Whatever they did to him isn't easily healable. It's like they've strange dark energy, It's something new. They're certain they can heal it, but it'll take time. And in the meantime, like whatever they've done to him is after paralyzing him. So he has to stay sitting down a lot. He needs his rest while they figure out how to purge him. Maybe there's a spike of dark energy in his lower back, like crystalline kind of thing. They can't just pull it out. They have to figure out how it even works to heal him. And he needs his rest, but he insists on being relevant. So he has to at the very least be sitting down. So he even insists on being out in the field, levitating a chair around with him for him to sit in. It's still iffy, but it's probably better than what Blizzard wrote. But again, I can't exactly comment till I've actually played it myself. Ooh, Mop is live in 11 minutes. Hoorah. So, I'm going to stop here for a moment, and I will be back in a sec. But yeah, I can't really comment on anything that's happening in retail without seeing full context and stuff. Actually playing through it, I don't feel it's right for me to comment on it. But just... Okay, he keeps respawning once in a while. It feels wrong of me to comment on it without actually playing through it myself. I just have a little drive in doing retail because the little bits I'm seeing just seem dodgy as hell, They don't seem that interesting. But basically, I'm of the opinion that you could even have him in, you can have him crippled. You can have him in a chair. But it depends on how you play with it. Someone was saying that the wheelchair wasn't Kagur's idea, it was one of the archmages trying to take care of him. But... yeah. Anyway, I will go get this coffee, and then we'll go do more of this. To be honest, the remix of Pandaria was so recent, it was only a year ago, that it feels a little too soon to be back here. But as soon as I'm through Stormsong Valley, it'll be relatively new content. I won't have covered here in many years. So, that's something. Next classic after this is going to be WoD. Imagine not many people are going to go back for that. WoD isn't exactly liked. Though I didn't... You know the garrisons, how everyone hates them? I like them. They were nice. I like the garrisons. Like, yeah, I didn't interact with them. Like, I didn't see people, I didn't interact with them, but I'm asocial to begin with. People's scary. So, it's not a big deal. But anyway, coffee. We'll actually go this time. Hello, folks, and I am back. Not done my coffee, but I'm a fair bit through it. So,
Can I help you?
does anyone need a medical
How
aid?
can I help you?
You may have won the first battle, but a critical task still remains. Dozens of Skyfire pilots were shot down during the initial aerial battle. Without medical aid, their condition will deteriorate over time until they finally perish. We are their only hope for survival. Go into the orchard and revive as many pilots as you can find. We will leave no one behind. Why is this so much louder all of a sudden? Yes, that's the stuff. Our cider is prized throughout the Jade Forest. I hope I can carry all of them. Thank you, friend. Don't worry. It's just a scratch. Now it feels good as new.
Not enough mana. I can't attack that target.
You have a moment to you have a moment to heal them. See this? Once that cycles down, you have to start trying to heal them again. Thank you, friend. Don't worry, it was just a scratch. Now it feels good as new. Thank you for rescuing me. For the launch, thought it was Gunner. I owe you my life.
I'm out of range.
Oh, whoops. I see another launch. I thought I was gonna die out.
The spell isn't ready. That's still rejected.
Oh god.
That yet. That spell isn't ready. I can't cast that yet.
All that. Well, we got a gold 50, pretty much. That seems a lot. Did they dial up the amount of currency gain? Pandaria has not seen full-scale war since the mists closed in. Japan usually handle any trouble that crops up on the continent.
That's still retarded.
If I do not know what to make of your kind, why have you brought your war to our shores? Why do you fight against this horde? Mayor Kang is so worried he called Shadowpan to deal with your arrival. So can't believe Lord Taran Zhou is here. We do not wish to enter your conflict, but fear that when war is on the horizon, peace is not an option.
I can't cast that.
Ah, such troubling thoughts. Last Emperor advised us not to live in the shadow of fear. Do you see now why we love to drink and celebrate? Let us go. These barrels. Let us go. The barrels are out in the orchard. Just be set.
Spell isn't ready.
At least I don't have to do it again.
Welcome.
Our orchard is one of our village's greatest treasures. For saving our harvest, we're truly grateful.
May the mists
Can you repeat that? Is anyone in
Good work,
need of
Dezek.
medical
The
aid?
soldiers will live and fight another day because of your efforts.
Hello.
Zinjon's dwarf cleaver. Huh, we even got to see the horde side. Okay, we have to head all the way out to the other side. Sadly, nothing is sold since, nothing's come true since I last played. But, then again, it hasn't been an hour, so...
Tell me of your travels.
I see you two have been busy. Thank you for recovering our kegs.
May your
We
days
have more,
bring you
more than
joy.
just our cellars to worry about. Coco, her beloved Mushan, has gone crazy. Just look at him. Very cajoling and pleading and yelling and soothing, but none has worked. Afraid he no longer has. He is no longer of his own mind. So only one way to save him, and a brewery. Strike swift and sure. Not feel a thing.
Travel safe.
That's still retarded. I can't cast that. Spell isn't ready.
Having to put down a beloved pet is a bit of a depressing quest for me.
That's still retarded.
Wesley passed away recently. She has been doing well for quite a while, and but she hanged in there for years. Her arthritis was getting bad. You could see her getting worse, but she hung in there for ages. But nah, she last Monday. It's so it's been 8 days since then. It's the not Tuesday the week after. It's Tuesday the week after now, and yeah. It seemed like she was almost just struggling to be alive. Like before, she was like panting to like when she would try and get up and move, she was panting a lot at times, and then more as it went on. But even just lying in bed, she'll be panting, and it just seems strained all over,
Hello. There is no.
And the last day we gave her, since it's their last day, we try and make it as nice for them as possible. When it came to Jessie, we got her, we did a dinner for her. It was potato, chicken soup. This is even when Mum was vegan. She cooked it up for her. And I think we gave her a chocolate bar too. The vet was literally coming in a few hours to help her on her way, so it's not exactly a big deal. And with Marley, we got him an ice cream cone, and he went mental at it. Got brain freeze. It was very cute. But with Lily, we got her an ice cream cone, sausage, a bourbon biscuit, and a bit of a chocolate bar. When she was having the ice cream, she looked like she was in heaven, but she looked so tired. There wasn't the normal arrogant Westie to her, So, yeah. It's been 8 days since she passed. Still remember on the table afterwards. Tongue hanging out of her mouth, purple.
Greetings, wanderer.
You did well to help the brewers and bring this news to me. From what you've told me, it sounds as if Coco was possessed by some dark energy. Could it be? No, it's impossible.
Jade serpents. There is no.
I do not trust this horde. They wield clearly foul magic and their intentions are clearly malevolent. I don't understand their presence in Twin Spire Keep, so close to Podon. I beg you, visitor, tend their numbers for they do some awful to this village.
May the mists protect.
Though we've only met, we have a common enemy, this group called the Horde. Several days ago, their leader made a trade offer. When we refused, the servants abducted several of our cubs as bargaining chips. We've called in the Shadowpan to help, but they're in Lunai's summit, journeying several days. Can you come to our aid?
Jade serpents.
Yeah, see, he says it's several days, but we can easily make it in like an hour tops, So the scale of the world is different than what we see, and that kind of annoys me. It makes sense why. Imagine trying to run it on foot, but anyone here at this point would have a mount, so it doesn't. That argument doesn't really work here. Then again, a fair argument would be it prevents them from making. A big issue people have with open worlds is how how big they are with a lack of stuff to do. So if they're to make the game to scale, they would have to put even more to it, and there'll be even more development time, more money, and that would quite possibly be non-viable. And I would like to know how big this place actually is, so I can at least mentally experience it, if I can experience it in game.
Keep your mind on the mission.
We need to do right by these people who want a chance at understanding this land.
Back to your duties.
The Horde have made our jobs easier for us. Their infighting and segregation have split their camp in two. Orcs in the west, undead in the east. The Orcs obey their commander Delgan, while the undead follow Blandre Fellstorm, a powerful warlock. Hopefully their internal squabbles will be enough of a distraction to be able to sneak in there and kill both of them. So he's already infiltrated the ruins. Find them inside when you're done.
Goodbye.
So he scouted a Horde establishment to the north, and he reports seeing a large pile of explosives, along with a small force of demolishers. Yeah, I am recording. Now, it's not to mention the demons that the warlocks have summoned. Luckily, we came prepared. We've got air support from Skyfire. We just need to show our pilots where to strike. Roll hands you a smoke flare and gives you a knowing nod.